I am Mystic Orange. This is Talking the Shadows, and this is episode 84, I think. And we're back to talking about Winx Club again. Um, I'm going to cover Winx Club Season 2, Episode 14, The Wrong Writers. Um, so, yeah. So, I'm glad talking about Winx Club again. It's always good when I'm talking about Winx Club. Yeah, when I'm not talking about Winx Club, I do miss talking about it. So yeah, um, I'm always happy when I'm talking about Winx Club. So yeah, in this video, I'm just gonna discuss, um, you know, this episode. Um, for this episode, like, I'm glad that it's interesting that Bloom and Flora get to be the only ones in this episode. Usually, it's interesting having like different dynamics of pair ups. So in this episode, we just have Bloom and Flora, so we kind of see how they, interact in this episode. I wish we got to see other interactions, not just Bloom and Flora. Maybe a different dynamic for an episode. That would be great. So yeah. Um, um, so in this episode, we're visiting Heraklion, which is really exciting. I have to say, this is one of my favorite episodes of season 2, and it's one of the reasons why I love season 2 so much because we get to explore so many characters. Um, in the past episode, we got to meet Jared from the, the episode about convergence, and then we in the previous episode we kind of meet the gangs of Gardenia. So this is really interesting for me. Um, we get to see a lot. And Heraklion is another thing we get to see, which is really cool. Like this is kind of like a fourth planet we've been to, like canonically. Um, like we start off with Earth in season 1. We kind of see magics, and then our third planet we go to is Sparks or Domino. You know, in like in the like the last part of season 1, and in this season we get to see Heraklion. So it's like the fourth planet we kind of visit, and I think it's really cool. Because we get to see Heraklion a lot in this episode. So yeah, that's one of the coolest things about this episode. Um, so yeah, um, we also get to see Sky's parents, the king. I mean, we've seen them before in like season 1, but in this season we get to see them a bit more, and we get to see King Arendor and Queen Samara. I think Queen Samara is kind of like her real presence. I know we've seen her before, but like she didn't have a speaking role. It was kind of the king only. Um, but I don't kind of like. I don't really like them. They kind of seem mean. They were mean to Bloom for no reason, and they have that kind of complex about them. They seem kind of like a traditional king and queen kind of um, archetype, like they're kind of traditionalist. I feel like they're not great people. We've seen other kings and queens in this franchise, but like uh, I'm not a fan of them. You know, um, they have like a kind of a stuck-up archetype about them. So yeah, um, not a huge fan of them, but it's cool to see their designs. Queen Samara looks so beautiful in her outfit and her hair. I love her hair. It's red, so gorgeous. But yeah, she is mean too. She was mean to Bloom. Yeah. So we find out that Diaspora gets kidnapped. What I like about this episode is that we showcase Diaspora a bit more. It's showing like what sort of things she had to deal with. Like, she's been forced to marry like the Sky because out of like money and stuff. It's interesting though. Like Heraklion kind of has two. Okay, it's kind of questionable how like Heraklion like has two monarchs, while the rest have like one. So yeah, um, but it's really unfortunate for Diaspora though. Like that she has to be forced into this, and she kind of like um, kind of manipulated to fall in love with Sky, if I have to say. Like, um, yeah, she did really like uh, have any choice but to fall in love with Sky. So yeah, we kind of see her in her like uh, feeling like the victim, and that's what she is. She's a victim of all this. It's a shame that the show, like in all dubs, they tend to villainize this Diaspora. Like it doesn't matter which dub it is, like Ray, Focus on Nickelodeon, or the Italian dub, they tend to villainize Diaspora, but really she is, a victim of all this. I think kind of War did a video on this. Um, like Diaspora deserved better. I do believe she deserves better. So yeah, and it's interesting that she gets to have like dynamic with Flora, and it's um, I do think they could, if season three didn't happen, I do think Diaspora and Flora could um, you know had friend made friendships. Uh, yeah. Other cool things we see in this episode is like Zing. She is a fun pixie. We get to see her. So Zing, Chatter, Lockhart, they get to be involved. It's fun seeing Zing in like her cosplays. It's so fun. She is marvelous. Um, um, what else? We get to find out about like like the Sky and Brandon thing. Remember when they switched places? So this is kind of like letting us know what happened. We get to see Yoshinoya and his goons. So yeah, I think it's really cool that we see them. In my opinion, he seems kind of weak. In my opinion, they could have taken down Yoshinoya years ago. So I don't get how they were scared of him. He doesn't seem that threatening, honestly. But this is kind of like only time we see Yoshinoya. We don't see him anywhere again. So I wonder, you know, um, if there could be more exploration of this character. You know, because I think it's kind of interesting. It's kind of like wants to take over Heraklion, but like it never goes anywhere. So we don't, we return to this. I wish we could. Now I want to talk about my favorite part about this episode. I've talked about the best to last, and that's the wrong writers. I love this episode so much because of these guys. Oh my gosh, they're so fun. I love them so much. Um, and I do I've watched um, um, Science Ninja Teams, Gatchaman. So I've watched that before. Uh, um, I think I haven't watched everything because not everything is in English in the YouTube. Um, but yeah, it's so fun. Um, seeing um like Rainbow take explode like kind of reference these characters. First, we get Ben, who is the leader. He's kind of like justice leader. He fights for justice. Uh, then we have like I think Ben. He's kind of like a Sky kind of character. He kind of gives me that kind of vibe. Then we have Bo, uh, who is well, Ben is like he's supposed to be Ken from that anime series. Bo is supposed to be Joe, so he's kind of like Riven type character. So he has kind of like a clashing um, personality with Ben. I think he likes to get into the action. I think he's kind of interesting. Um, yeah. Um, he just like to get things going. Um, I think my favorite character is Jimpy. He has the same name as um, um, the original anime, and he's supposed to be the youngest. In the Focus, I mean, in the Winx dub, he's said to be the smartest kid in the team. Um, but yeah, I think he's one of my favorites. Actually, in the original anime, he is my favorite. I think he's like the most fun one. I think he has like a lot of energy and honestly the brightest. And I also think he's like sweet and cute. He's a lot of fun, Jimpy. Then we have Dunko, who is um, John June from the anime series. She is supposed to be Princess of Beauty. Um, in the Ring Club, she is supposed to have like um, she kind of has power over lipstick or foundation, so she kind of uses like makeup as her arsenal. But in the original, she's kind of the sassy one. I think um, she's my second favorite from the original. She has like I think there's a like a crush between her and Ken, so I think yeah. And then we have well, um, it's supposed to be Ryu, uh, but in the original version, I think it's called Caillou. Um, in the Winx Club, he's a robot, but in the original, he is a human. He's kind of the lazy one. I think he is the most changed from the original, um, and um, and they have a dog called Zark. I think he's like the new addition, but in the original they don't have a pet. It's only these five. Zark is like kind of like the dog. I think it's really these guys are really cool. I'm so glad that Winx Club added these characters. Um, it, it was fun seeing them in in this episode. So yeah, th- that's that's it really. Um, Overall, this really shows like season two is one of my favorites. So yeah, I highly recommend checking out the original anime. It's hard to find all the episodes, but it is fun. Anyways, thank you for watching and have a lovely day.